I don't really think I like this setup at all. It takes up a lot of room on the desk. We've got the space down here to put the stuff back down there. The only thing I don't really like having amplifiers in an area like this because they put out heat. They can't breathe. I don't know that it really makes enough of a difference. Uh, in fact, they're pretty close right now, but you can't really see the tubes or anything inside either one of these amplifiers. So there's really no benefit of having them up there looking at them. But the Tentec does have a bunch of information on it. The main thing, though, for me is I don't actually use them very much. It's usually in the evening I'll get on 20 meters and maybe try and get some DX. And they can't hear me, I'll turn on the amp. I don't like using the amplifier when I talk local. If, most people don't complain. They don't have trouble hearing me with 100 watts on 80 meters with a loop antenna. So I feel like if you run a dipole, you need an amplifier on 80. I feel like if you run a loop, you probably don't. There's going to be some people that, are going to have a hard time hearing you, but it depends on the band conditions. It's just not that serious to me anymore to where, like, I need to talk, I don't need to talk. So if they can't hear me, oh well, I don't need to talk. But I'm just trying to have a nice station set up. And this really, to me, let me move this out of the way here, is not really what I'm interested in. We kind of, so we can step back a little bit. So, I'm not going to use the Apple computer, really. I haven't put it on the watt meter, but I'm pretty sure it draws as much as a high-performance computer. I wouldn't mind moving stuff around, putting the Apple in the corner here and fiddle around with GarageBand every once in a while. But I don't want to use it for like some primary computer. I don't even want it hooked to the internet because I don't trust Apple for one thing. But like I don't need another device hooked to the internet that I don't necessarily trust. The thing about the Apple computers that I don't like is that there's a built-in webcam on this thing and you can't do anything about it. And I think they probably had it taped shut. You can see the tape. Apple is known to do stuff and invade your privacy, believe it or not. So a few years ago, people were noticing a restaurant owner had like an outside dining area or whatever, where he had like surveillance cameras. And he noticed that people were eating and they were holding their phones up and their phones kept flashing on the camera. But it wasn't showing up in real life. And what it was is the iPhone users, their phones were taking a picture of their face every few seconds or so, and it was using an infrared type of thing on the phone that you can't see to illuminate them as a flash. So the iPhones will sit here and take a picture of your face every 30 seconds continuously while you're using the phone, supposedly to verify that it's you. That's just ridiculous. So you're using my battery up, you're using my data up, and you're basically surveilling everything around me through my phone. No thanks. So anyway, what do I need to do on this computer? Why would I want to use it to surf the internet? I'm not going to use it to stream video. We use it for storing photos, maybe, and editing photos, maybe. and GarageBand, none of which requires the internet. You know, it's kind of one of the things I've mentioned before. You guys can live without the internet. You don't actually have to have it. There's a lot of things you can do without the internet. It's just that they've forced us to think that we have to have it. We need to stream this. We need to stream that. No, you should own physical copies of everything that you have. You should not let them trick you into buying streaming services and subscriptions. You're putting money down the toilet for convenience. Spotify and Last FM or whatever the hell they got, you know, Netflix, Amazon Music stuff. You don't own any of that. You're paying a subscription. You can't go back and play that CD or that MP3 file. You don't have that. You're paying for something you don't own. And you can't even use it on a backing track on YouTube because you don't own it. You know? That's what kind of gets me. It's like, hey, if I paid for this music, this CD, why can't I play it in my video? I paid for it. I own this copy. I'm not redistributing it to other people. But then they think, well, if you have it in, you're redistributing it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is, you don't need the internet. You shouldn't be relying upon subscription-based stuff. And you can have a computer like this to do whatever. I could put it in the corner and let it play music on iTunes. Run it to the stereo up here through Bluetooth. That's actually one of the cool things you could do with something like this. It'd be even neater if it was touchscreen and you could just like touch, like, you know, play this song. Because what I'll usually do is I'll take my CD collection and I'll rip it to the library. And this does actually have it has a card reader and it has a CD right here. How cool is that? It's like a big, giant, overgrown laptop, basically. I mean, it's cool. I like it, but I need to switch it out for now. I'm not ready to mess with it. So anyway, back to the radio station and all that. Like, I just don't know. This doesn't work for me. I'm trying to think outside the box and try different things. I really want to do something with all the clutter. So, and if I got the 710 over here, and I'm going to use that, which looks really out of place with these big boxes, I'd like to have the monitor, which I can't really put over there. Power supply's in the way too. So, I hate to put the amplifiers back down there, but if I'm not using them, who cares? You know, if I only use them occasionally for a couple of minutes, I mean, who cares? So I think that I might just actually go back to the original setup. Put the tuner down here. It is nice having the tuner up top and, you know, all this other stuff, but I don't really like having stuff down on shelves underneath. Because you get dust and stuff and things get dirty. But I don't know. I can't think of some other way of doing it that'll work out right. And the only thing I could actually do is pull out my other computer that's a rack mount and put it right down in here. And that might be kind of good. I don't know.